It's often the case that people are not exactly the same size, so how do you know how far away to stand? And you can do that by making two fists, extending your arms, and just kind of putting your arms out in front of each other, and that should give us roughly the right amount of distance between the two to start. Once we've done that, we always salute our partner, making the traditional Tai Chi salute there, acknowledges them, thanks them, and shows them some respect. It also is sort of a promise. It says, we're going to play this game, but I promise not to overuse my skills and hurt you because I need you to learn the lessons of the game. Right? Now I'm going to take my left foot and turn this left foot out, and I'm going to step forward with this right foot. So we both step forward with the same foot and just connect at the wrist here. We're going to start with something very basic, just a very basic push. One-handed, the two of you have just touched wrists together, and this is the first connection principle. I just want to connect, which in Chinese is called lian. It just means sort of linking. From this link now I can continue to follow and move around, but if I don't have that link, then there's no game to play. So we first want to just connect here. Then I'm going to push towards John Paul, and he's going to push to me. This is something very straightforward. I shift forward to push, I shift back to receive. I push, he pushes. And the target here is right in the center, where my center of gravity might be. Push forward, push back. Now what I want to do is I want to take this basic pushing forward and pushing back and turn it into a circle. And I'm going to do this by having him turn away from the push, and then he pushes towards me and I turn away from the push. So the push is still going straight forward and back, but the body is now rotating around and around. So you want to be careful when you try to make a circle out of this technique. It's not about stirring the pot. That's kind of an optical illusion. I'm still pushing right to his center. He's still pushing right to my center, but the body is moving around that push. So I push forward, he moves around it. He pushes forward, I move around it. Very nice. You can kind of do this for a long time. You can just, follow each other with a one-handed push here. It'll help you to practice the second principle of connection, which is to follow, right? We can kind of establish maybe an alternating pattern of somebody who's going to follow and somebody who's going to lead. So I want to lead because I'm the teacher here, so he's going to follow me. So no matter which way I go, he has to stay with me, right? Not lose his connection, right? No matter how tricky I get, right? If he loses his connection, again, then I have an opportunity. Ah, very nice. So he just tried to be tricky there. Right? So we have connect, stick, and now just follow. All right, so now once you have established a connection here, you're following each other, you can turn this into a two-handed pattern by simply placing your free hand on top of the elbow. And again, just making the circle. Now the circles are exactly the same. So I push forward, he still turns away from the push. He pushes towards me, I still turn away from the push. This is a conventional two-handed circle. I sometimes think of it as pushing hands small talk, right? We're just feeling each other out, getting to know each other a little bit. So one of the things that I can feel right now is that there's some stiffness creeping up into his arms and shoulders here. I think he's a little bit nervous about what I might do. And that tells me a lot, right? So as it tells me what is the nature of his energy and his thought patterns, then I might take advantage of that. All right, so after we have done some small talk for a while, we're going to take the conversation into a higher level and separate the hands. And what do the hands do? Well, they try to find the opponent's center of gravity and push on it a little bit to see if I can uproot it. So I'm moving towards his center of gravity. I'm going to push on a little bit. It might knock him off balance. But the thing is, he's doing the same thing to me at the same time. So while I'm looking for his center of gravity, he's also looking for mine, right? So you've got to be able to multitask. I got to push and root at the same time. So, yes. And then when one person steps off, we'll go back to the circle again. A little small talk before we get back into the conversation. That was very nice. Let's try it again. The hands separate, right? We flow around a little bit. I'm looking for his center of gravity. Sometimes if he tries to prevent me from actually touching the spine, the center of gravity, by resisting with his arms, well, that's okay, because resistance also is an imbalance, right? Remember I said about resisting the temptation to use brute force. It just becomes less and less effective as we go. Okay, back to the basic circle. So if you're doing it with your partner, take a breath, Relax. We connect. I start the circle. He follows me, right? Circling around and around. Then we separate, right? Now, I said before, there are moves like we would use in a game of chess. And where do these moves come from? Well, these moves are exactly the same thing we learned in our last episode on Tai Chi forms. There is ward off, the expanding bubble. There is rolling back. As he pushes towards me, I just yield, take him with me, right? There is press, which comes into a small area and pushes forward. These are all the essential kinetic concepts that we learn when we do our Tai Chi forms, and we employ them in the push hands game. Very nice. Right? Now, while I'm employing these basic moves, let's go back to the basic circle, a little small talk, right? As I employ these, here's another thing. Don't let your opponents sort of inch away from you. This is an intimate game. You want to stay pretty close together. So I'm stepping forward, almost like you can see I'm overlapping our stances. Right? So now I connect, we connect, you follow, a little small talk, right? Very nice, circling around. So one of the things that I'm trying to develop in my own self while we're playing this game is a series of 4 essential skills. The first skill is the skill of listening. I want to be sensitive to what he's doing, what he's thinking, where he's going to go next. Not like I could do anything about it. I just want to listen for it. So I can listen for the stiffness, the tension in his body, right? I can listen for the shift of his thoughts. So he's got a little bit more aggressive right there. So I'm just listening to it, because only by listening can I start to develop the second skill, which is understanding, right? Understanding, you might call it interpreting, right? The first skill, listening, is called tingjing. Ting in Chinese meaning listening. The second skill, dongjing. Dong meaning understanding. So I understand where he's going. I hear it. I'm listening to it. What does it mean? I don't know yet. I'm still listening. It means that he's going in that direction, so I can take him with me. The third skill is called hua. Hua-jing means to neutralize. Right? So as he starts to push towards me, right? I don't want to resist it. I don't want to fight it. I just want to let it go past me. I want to neutralize it so it doesn't have any effect. Right? Right? To let it sort of disappear, have it dissolve, right? So neutralizing is the third skill. And finally, the fourth skill is issuing, we call fajing. Right? So we're playing the game, and fajing is something that I don't recommend that you try to employ until you have a formal teacher that you're working with, because it's where the energy all comes out in an explosion. So we go back to the circle, go back to the small talk, let the conversation progress. I'm listening, I'm following, trying to neutralize. And once he's neutralized, then I can issue force with a little bit more oomph. Right. All right. Very nice. Now, to end this game, we always want to acknowledge our partner. We want to say thank you, because without your partner, you can't play the game. You can't learn any of the lessons. So we always salute at the end and say thank you for helping. Very nice. Thank you so much.